So I'm just gonna remove it like this. Oh, that feels good. Oh yeah.
That was not a wall, and that was not 50 miles an hour.
OS years ago used to always use metal body carbs.
Clickbait is in essence negative. Why? Because it's a deceptive practice. You cannot ethically justify clickbait. What's up, Nitro Gang? Welcome back. We're at the turning point of this vintage Nitro RC10GT restoration. This is going to be part 3. In the last part, all I did was remove the starting assembly from this engine. We checked out the huge amount of nitro soup inside. Yeah, I'm gonna call it soup because you could literally add some peas, add some carrots, and you'll have yourself a nice vegetable base with all the sludge that was in here. But in this video, this is really where we're gonna get the piston moving. You know, as they say, get the wheels rolling, the wheels on the bus song. And by the way, I hope none of you think I was too critical in part 2 of this build, you know, where I talked about a certain somebody that crashes Traxxas Maxx's at 50 miles per hour into walls. They're not even real walls. You know what? I jumped the damn moon in my last video. That's right. I also jumped the Empire State Building. I don't think there's a skate park with a ramp big enough for you to jump the moon. Well, guess what? I did it in my last video. And here's the thumbnail to prove it. Right now, what I'm going to do is just add some WD-40, you know, just to see if this thing works. Let's give that a try right now.
Right now, we're gonna do a little bit of a shortcut. I'm literally just gonna spray some WD-40 here on top. I don't see any debris inside the motor, so I think with some help, you know, from this WD-40, it should possibly just spin over. I really just want to make sure that everything inside the engine is complete. You know, the connecting rod is not busted. So, you know what? I'm not too worried about this. Here we go. We just need to get the crankshaft spinning just a little bit. I'm gonna start moving the flywheel. Okay, yeah, the piston isn't moving, guys. It's moving. We could see that. Yeah, basically not bad at all. I don't feel that much resistance. There's a good amount of pinch at the top. So yeah, this thing is in one piece. Let's put a little bit more in here just to lubricate it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually beginning to spin fairly easily. This is like a vintage nitro soup concoction full of, you know, oil. We're just missing some split peas right here. Yeah, it seems to be moving just fine. So the sleeve actually looks to be in really, really good shape. You can't tell any kind of scoring or any kind of issues with the sleeve at all, obviously, other than the remnants of this dried up nitro fuel. At the top of the stroke, I feel a good amount of pinch coming from the piston because, you know, when I'm pretty much going like this, you guys could see the sleeve is getting lifted a little bit out of the engine. That's good. That's exactly what you want to see. That means this motor should have a good amount of compression. Of course, the only thing left to do is to, of course, clean all of this. I'm not going to remove the clutch. I'm not going to remove the front bearings here because I just don't want to mess with this. The next thing I'm going to do is remove the carburetor. This really needs to be cleaned. It has a lot of gummed up oil inside and I'm having a pretty hard time moving the carb venturi just manually. So we definitely have to remove it. I'm going to use this glow plug tool. There we go. This should just jiggle out like this a little bit. Yep. Done. The seal is still firmly attached to the carb. I'm not going to remove it right now because I don't want to mess with it. This is one of the better carbs. This is the OS 10E rotary carb. Pretty much a classic. This is back when carbs used to almost always be metal bodied. Let me show you the difference between a more modern carb like this HPI from an HPI G3.0 engine and this old school metal body OS carb. So almost all new RCs have composite carbs like this, including Traxxas. The main issue with composite body carbs is anytime you put plastic on an engine that's going to be heating up really quickly and cooling down really quickly, the plastic itself is going to have a tendency to break over time. Eventually, you will develop air leaks in composite body carbs, and it's going to be a disaster to tune. OS years ago used to always use metal body carbs. These are not susceptible to any drastic temperature differences or variances. So once again, OS engines here for the win. Yeah. Let's talk about carb cleaning. I like to take the first step by removing the high-speed needle valve. The reason is it's very, very easy to do. You just turn this out. It's literally a screw, right? Oh yeah, it just fell out like that. A lot of times, the needle shaft here at the end just has a lot of dirt and gummed up fuel on it. So generally, if you just clean this out, just throw, spray some denatured alcohol or spray some brake parts cleaner in there, and you just want it to come through the carb and make it way through all of the entirety of the carb collectively. Now, of course, there are better ways you could disassemble all of this. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do this right now. I will be cleaning this later, but for now, this is not really about the carb. I just wanted to show you guys that make sure to remove the high-speed needle itself. Make sure it's clean inside. This is the easiest way, and a lot of times, this is actually just good enough. Some of you guys were asking me, how do you tune your carb? So you have the low-speed needle here, you have the high-speed needle here, and you have your idle set screw right over here. Now, the true Wind Waker is having a little bit of a hard time adjusting his idle. So, what you want to see is a small amount of gap right over there. Now, this particular carb, you could see it's basically almost closed all the way. So, you would want to raise your idle just a little bit to make sure that your carb is not fully closed. About 0.5 millimeter is something where you want it to be. Now, we're up to the most important part, removing the sleeve. This one does not look to be seized, because, when I spin the flywheel here, I literally see the sleeve come out on its own. That's a good sign. Once again, it is notched. You could see right here on the side, there is a notch that goes into the sleeve. So there is no way you could incorrectly put the sleeve back in, because if you do, it's going to be messed up and your ports will not align. They will not line up, and you're going to ruin your engine. So I'm just going to remove it like this. Oh, that feels good. Oh, yeah. There we go. Looks good. These last a really long time, guys. It is not uncommon that one of these OSCV engines pretty much do about, 5 to 10 gallons of fuel, and they'll still have adequate compression. At this time, I'm really not going to keep disassembling this anymore. There are E-clips here on the front, keeping the clutch belt in place. I don't really want to mess with this stuff right here. Of course, the front main bearings might be a little bit dirty, but I've removed the carb, I've removed the entire backplate assembly. So hopefully, once I start actually cleaning this and putting in some more lubricant in there, it'll be just fine. In the last engine repair video, somebody said you gotta make sure to get all of the remaining water out of there. So what I'm gonna do to make sure there is no remaining water is, once I'm finished building this, I'm gonna run this engine. I'm gonna do maybe about 2 tanks of fuel through it. This is obviously best case scenario, but guys, this is gonna start. This engine is in really good shape. It just needs a good clean.
Alright, Nitro Gang, I got the engine taken apart. It's in pieces, ready to be cleaned. What matters is everything is here. I'm gonna call this part 3, but before I go, let me just point out a couple little updates from my current drama going on with Kevin Talbot. So watch this little clip that I put on during the last part of this video. Into walls at 50 miles an hour. That's how, oh my god! There is no way that that truck reached 50 miles per hour in that skate park to hit what looked like not even a wall, even though the thumbnail said it was a wall. That was not even the wall. Oh no, here comes Martin. Back out. Oh my god. The reality is, that video was not for kids, it was not for adults, it was for a clickbait library. And I'm sorry that it got all of you. It actually kind of got me as well, because I did want to see what would happen to a Max when it crashed into a wall at 50 miles an hour. But then in reality, it wasn't even a wall, and it wasn't even 50 miles an hour. So what did I watch? Well, that's my fault, it got me. I just want to give you guys a little bit of an update, let you know that I am aware of the current arguments going on my comment section. So Kevin Talbot and his friend, he's another YouTuber that's in his videos, Pat's channel, have pretty much been bombarding me with comments, pretty much saying that clickbaiting is okay. Well, you know what? Let me tell you right now. Clickbait is immoral. If you look up the definition of clickbait, it's basically an actual deceptive method used to get viewers for something that is completely different than what you're intending them to watch. Clickbait is in essence negative. Why? Because it's a deceptive practice. You cannot ethically justify clickbait. Before I go, let me leave you with a comment here from Kevin Talbot. It appears he searched my entire video library of over 400 videos to come up with one video thumbnail where he thinks I was purposely misleading someone, which is the definition of clickbait. It is the one where I drove over myself with my Primal MT. And guess what? The video thumbnail, that was me, and that was my Primal MT. The thumbnail is not a lie. I guess he took offense to the word destroyed. Well, if you define the word destroy as kill, maim, hurt, injure, I am still here. So yes, it was not a perfect truth. It was a little bit deceptive because I am not fully destroyed. If you define destruction as, I guess, the constant dying of cells inside your body, well, it is currently going on right now. I can title this video Destruction Ongoing at All Times because you guys know, if you know anything about high school biology, chemistry, physics, anything, you constantly have cells dying inside your body. You know, so yes, I guess you could say I was still actively being destroyed in that video, but it really doesn't matter. My main claim to the original Kevin Talbot video was that was not a wall and that was not 50 miles an hour. So you cannot go look through my entire video library and get offended by one word that you think was misleading, because I am still here, I am not dead, I am still alive. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. Did my cells, some of them die during that process? Yes, they did. Are they currently dying right now? Yes, they are. Alright guys, a lot more on this debate later. Don't worry, I have good video evidence, I have good ethical arguments, and I have some of my Nitro Gang supporters along with me on this issue. So stay tuned, comment, like, and you know, subscribe if you want to. I probably would appreciate that because this is what I do. And listen, next time, we're going to be cleaning the engine in the sink. The good down dirty method to get things done right later.
Stringy, exactly how you expect the pizza to be. Now we're gonna look at me eating the first bite of this pizza. We're both gonna try it actually. Oh, no plates unfortunately, but you know, that's alright. She likes it. For me, let's see. Pretty good, you know. First thing I noticed, it's a little bit oily on the top here. Not too bad. You can't really taste the oil. Pepperoni has good flavor.